Hi, ladies. It's really so good to see everyone. I mean, I can see how the comment section is actually buzzing. Good afternoon, good evening, again, depending on your current location. And I mean, I'm really so excited to be here. I don't know about you if you are so excited to be here because today is actually filled with a lot of activities. We have an amazing speaker here with us on the call. And I mean, of course, you're going to be learning a lot, right? But before we go into the main, right, I'd love to see in the comment section where you are joining us from because I know we have people who are joining us from Facebook who are streaming this session from Facebook, also streaming it from LinkedIn as well as YouTube. So if where are you joining us from today? What are you looking out for? Because of course, this is like a new program, Demystifying Tech. And when you hear about Demystifying Tech, what comes to your mind? But then before we actually move into that, I would really love to know where you are joining us from. Are you joining us from Nigeria? Because I mean, for me, I'm currently in Nigeria. So are you joining us from South Africa? Where exactly are you joining us from? And what is one thing you are looking out to gain from today's program, right? I would love to see the comment section buzzing, right? I would love to hear from every one of us. And I know you might be wondering, oh, who is this person that is talking? Yeah, so Oluwasho. Okay, I can see the comment section is buzzing. I'm sorry, please let's do well to also add that name so that I can also identify who is speaking. I can see Elat saying she's joining from Cameroon. Nafitat says she's joining from Nigeria. Evelyn says she's joining from Nigeria. V Cook is also joining from Nigeria. I mean, this is really amazing. The fact that we have people joining us from Nigeria, from Cameroon, and from different parts of Africa, right? So, again, let's keep the comment section buzzing. I'd love to know where you're joining us from, what you also hoping to gain from today's session. And again, right, before we move into the main session, right, I want us to do something for me very, very fast. All right. So it's a very quick task which I would be giving to us. And before the end of this program, I'd really love to get the assignments being done. Right. Oh, okay. This is great. I can see another person saying, oh, Oluwaseun join. Anyway, I'm also Oluwaseun, right? Okay, so this is the quick task that I want us to do for me. I want us right now to take a screenshot. I know most of us are joining from YouTube, maybe they are streaming from Facebook. Take a screenshot of this session, make a post on your Twitter, make a post on LinkedIn, all of the platforms that you actually leverage or you make use of right now. Make a post tagging Chicode Africa, right? And I'm going to be dropping the hashtags in the comment section as well, telling others that this session is actually live right now. And if they are not on this call, they are at the wrong place, right? If they are not on this call, they are also like missing out quite a lot. Again, we have quite an amazing speaker here today who is going to be coming on board to provide an amazing wealth of knowledge, giving us a breakdown of demystifying tech, giving us a very clear details about how to choose your tech path and also build a career roadmap, because I know for most of us, we're either beginners, we're either transitioning into the tech industry, or we are sort of like trying to find our way, our real identity, right? When it comes to building a career roadmap. So again, I want us to go right now on Twitter, Facebook, all of the platform, tag She Could Africa, right? As well as again, I'm gonna drop the hashtags in the comment section, and I'll be looking forward to our link, because of course we are going to be doing the repost, we're going to be doing a lot of amazing things, right? So again, I would really love to see that before the end of today's call. Yeah, not to take much of our time, I'm Oluwasho, and I'm really again excited to be here. I've been looking forward to today's session, and I know you all have been looking forward to today's session, hoping to hear from our amazing speaker what she has to dish out to us, right? So, for most of you who know me and who probably don't know me, I am Oluwashio, and I work with the community team here at She Could Africa. And just a quick heads up for most of us who know what She Could Africa does, and for most of us who probably do not have idea about what She Could Africa is all about. So we are a non-profit organization, and our major target audience, right, majorly focuses on African women, right? Women within the age group of 16 to 35 years old, right? So these are women like you, myself, who are maybe looking for opportunities to maybe develop their skill sets through our programs. Of course, we do have like series of programs, mentorship, trainings, and other opportunities out there, right? So if you've probably don't have like much about sorry, if you don't have like much idea about what She Could Africa is all about, again, this is an opportunity for you to get to learn more about us. And I think the other thing I also wanted to point out, because I mean it's something that I've been noticing, is where most people call us She Codes. And I'm like, side eye to you. So we are not She Codes, we are not called She Code, we are called She Could Africa, right? So I wanted to bring that out. But then, I mean, we're almost coming to the part where I bring in my amazing speaker. So before I introduce who is actually going to be giving us a lot, right? A lot of tips, a lot of learnings on how to choose your tech career, on how to even build that career roadmap. I'm not seeing, wait. I'm not going to bring my speaker today. I gave us a task. I told us to make a post. Nobody has shared any link. It feels more like as if we are being selfish with our information. Are we being selfish? Because now it feels more we are being selfish. All right. Again, I really look forward to seeing your link in the chat box, right? Before the end of today's call. Yeah. So this brings me to the part where I give like an intro about who our speaker is for today's call, or rather for today's session. So you might be wondering, oh, who is that person that has been managing the She Could Africa social media platform? Of course, we do have someone that has been managing it, right? Someone who has been helping us with content and whatnot, right? So that is the person we are bringing on stage today, who, of course, is going to be doing an amazing work providing a detailed breakdown. But before I talk about, or rather, before I give her the stage, so a bit about Great. So Great Oloyede is a content marketing manager. Again, I'm not seeing the chat box buzzing. No, okay, somebody's saying we've not gotten the hashtag. Okay, I'm going to just quickly drop the hashtag in the chat box so that we can just use that right up. So yes, a quick one. So Great Oloyede is a content marketing manager who specializes in strategic storytelling, community driven campaigns, as well as brand building across digital ecosystem. She has spent the better part of her career helping brands find their voice, as well as grow their community with content that prioritizes resonance over noise and making meaningful contribution over volume. At the heart of great work is a genuine belief in the power of community, digital storytelling, and how the right story can as well shift perception as well as drive action in building a lasting community. She currently brings that passion into her work here at She Could Africa, where she applies her content and community experts to building visibility and belongings for women in tech. Nobody is clapping. Nobody is dropping any clap in the comment section. Great. Do you think we should just call this session a wrap? And I'll just say everyone should just go back home. Today is the end of the Demystifying Tech event because again, nobody feels welcoming or nobody feels happy. They don't seem to be. And the fact that I keep saying it, okay, it's only just Ngozi that is giving me the clapping emoji. All right. Nobody feels excited to hear from Ashosh. Okay, be Life is saying, no, please. All right, thank you, ladies. I really love to see the clapping emojis, right? Because she's coming here, right, to provide so much wealth of experience, so much knowledge, and you don't want to miss out, right? So let's jam our hands using the clap emoji as I welcome Great on stage as she walks us through how to build our career in the tech industry. Hi, Great. How are you doing, by the way? How is it over there? How is the weather?
Hi guys, it's a little bit cool. Thank you so much for having me. If you're excited to see me, I want to see that you're excited to see me. I need to see heart emojis in the comment section. Thank you so much guys for having me. I'm really glad that I'm going to be able to speak on this topic. It's one thing I'm quite passionate about. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you Shikode. Thank you for everyone that has joined.
All right, so I would be passing the floor to you to walk us through today's topic on choosing your tech path and building a career in roadmap. Thank you, and over to you, Great.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me once again. Um, just to reiterate, we've all heard a little about me, but majorly I am just a storyteller. I love to tell stories. If you were active in 2013, if you had a digital device, I know you read a lot of Wattpad, or if you had a K drama phase and you can relate to that, just put in the comment section. And so I really love to tell stories, and that's just what exists at the crux of my work. Anyway, I am somebody that has moved from parts to parts. Before I landed in marketing, I was going to say K drama. Before I landed in marketing, I was in front end engineering, then back end engineering with Java. And then from there, I entered content writing for a bit. Then I entered project management. Then I had this feedback every single time that I'm a very chill person. I'm just not very, I don't want to say, I don't want to say unserious, but to be very honest, my life is not hard. And that's how I find myself now in content as well, because I have plenty creative ideas. And I think, stories are something that I want to share with the world. So let's just get right into it so we could have like proper use of our time. I don't want to overseed my time, so I am going to start a timer on my end to make sure that we stay together. So, the topic that we're having today is choosing your tech path and building a career path. Sean, please, next slide. While Sean does that, so one thing about choosing your tech path and your career and building your career roadmap is that you cannot build a career in something that you're not very conversant with. What do I mean by this? We're going to break this topic down into sections to make sure that it is as interactive. There will be another section for questions. Like I said, I'm trying to make sure that we have enough time with ourselves. So there will be a section for questions, and there would also be a question for us interacting where I'd like to get our feedback together. Thank you so much. So, introduction. You can build a roadmap or even select a path in an industry that you do not fully understand. It's easy to follow along with the rave and say, oh, tech. Everybody's all about tech. Everybody's all about AI. But what exactly is technology? We're going to start with the basics. a textbook's definition, what is technology in the first place? Technology is the practical application of knowledge, especially in a particular area. But when it comes to the technology, the digital technology that you and I are very used to, then it is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. This is a class. We are going to break this down step by step. All right. So that's the definition of technology. Then what do we now understand by the tech industry? Because when everybody says I'm into tech or I want to get into tech, they're not saying that they just want to any other anybody, because by the definition of technology, anybody can apply practical knowledge into a particular area. But when we're talking about tech between you and I, which is digital tech, then we're talking about tech as an industry. And this is like thinking of the ecosystem of companies, professionals, and then systems. This, when you think about like software, when I talk about your software example, the platform that we're using right now to stream to you, your device, your operating system that's allowing you to watch this, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching anywhere else, those are software applications, right? Then you now have like your hardware, your mobile device, your laptop, your printer, all of that. They are technological devices. Let's even leave like the digital landscape. We can even talk about your blender is an hardware device, especially for the ones that allow you to set they allow you to set like different timers, cook this, cook that. That's a technological device, right? So we're talking about platforms, we're talking about digital infrastructure on a whole. Now that we understand what technology and then the tech industry is, let's talk about tech today. If you have any questions, by the way, or feedback, just put it in the comment section and we'll be able to get back to it. So we're talking about like tech today. One thing we need to understand is the economics of tech. You can't go into an industry blind, and if you go into an industry blind, then you would miss out on a lot of opportunities that are great for you that you can maximize, right? It's easy to want to work into tech, but even while working in tech, you can settle for low value roles, or even redundant roles, especially in this age of AI, which is something we want to be very careful about, that you're not coming out of a job in the next 2 to 3 years, right? We're trying to make that tech money, right? So the global tech industry as at now is valued at over $9 trillion. That's a lot of money. Calculate it. It's a lot of serious. And the best part about it is that that valuation continues to climb. And you and I, we want a piece of the pie, right? So it's the connective tissue of every major economy today in the world. It does not sit, it has become such a pivotal thing that it does not even sit beside other industries. It runs through them all. You find tech in food, you find tech in health, you find tech in security, you find tech everywhere else, even in agriculture, right? I mentioned food anyway. So we have agriculture, and then we have like the food that you and I we eat. We have tech like child egg. That's food, right? So another thing that we really need to understand is that before we talk about careers and parts, we need to agree on what we're actually talking about, because tech is not just one thing, it's a force that cuts across every single thing. Breaking that down into the different layers and pillars of tech, as we know, tech is no longer just an ecosystem. It's no longer just it's not a single industry, it's an ecosystem at this point. The world is moving forward based on the technological advances that we have today. For example, AI. So let's talk about like the economic layers first of all. We have fintech, we have health tech. What is fintech? Your financial banks, your savings. I think one time I saw an app for if you want to spray money on at a party, but you know how all those headaches of money getting around on the floor, and like now that it's even illegal for you to spray the Nigerian naira on the floor, you could get arrested for that. There's now an app where you can just share that money to make sure that the couple collects the money themselves, because they also have the pickers that can pick money for themselves as well, right? So we have fintech, we have health tech, we have education tech, also known as ed tech, we have agri tech, agriculture tech, food tech, we have security, cyber security, logistics tech, and many more like that, even hospitality tech. I think if you frequent some estates, or if you frequent some estates, I stay in Nigeria, if you frequent some estates in Nigeria, there is a platform that some of them will tell you send code, send code, send code to access the estate. So that's like a conjoinment of like security tech and hospitality tech, right? But what links everything together? There are four pillars that links everything together. Number one is you have infrastructure. When we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about networks, cloud systems, and security frameworks that power everything. So infrastructure is just generally like what connects everything together. What makes it happen that you and I can log onto YouTube and you can watch this show, you can watch this event, and I can talk to you. That is infrastructure. Think about infrastructure like, your buildings. When you see your buildings, you have the elevator, you have the staircase, then you have door to door, depending on what type of building it is, right? Next thing is you have intelligence. So technology has made it a way that not we are no longer the only intelligent beings. I think that's the best definition, differentiation between human beings and every other thing in this world is that we are intelligent. We can think with ourselves. So now technology has made it that our intelligence can be made digital, that anybody can access from anywhere else, right? There are some, I don't know if you ever see on TikTok, but there are even some devices that they use to train animals to speak. So intelligence is now digital. Intelligence is now for everybody. Intelligence in data science, in AI, in analytics, and then in data science is literally just a pool of our own knowledge of the things that we know, but being made digital and accessible to everybody else. Then we also have like experience. When we're talking about experience, we're talking about like if you ever heard of product design. If you have, please just put yes in the comment section. So if you've ever heard of something like your product design, or there is an aspect of tech that you should know about, you should look into, which is human interaction design. So it's like, how do we interact with all these systems in our front? When you log on to YouTube, you see your videos immediately, right? If you want to search for something, you will see the search icon, you will click how to bake a cake. That keyboard self, your keyboard being at the bottom of your screen, is intentionally designed to make it easier for you to use that software. I hope we're following, because we need to understand tech before we even think about building a career in tech. There are different ways you can come in. I work in tech, but I'm not working in all these technical sides. They are technical and they are non-technical, because well, it's very easy to fall just and think about just the technical part of things. But like I said, tech is an ecosystem. Everything works together to form one decision, to achieve one thing. Everything works together. So yes, next thing is impact. So like I said, just it's even it's something I was just talking about right now. Whereas like impact is the measurable transformation that tech drives as a whole. Before, you and I needed to write our notes. We needed to take paper, write paper, and send through the post system to be able to communicate. In how many days did that take? Now, if you want to communicate with me, if you want to connect with me, all you have to do is go on LinkedIn, search Betoloede, bam, send me a message request. So you see that there has been a transformation, right? And everything like that. Anyway, moving on to the next. As I've made a lot of explanations of tech in the everyday world. No, we're not moving on to the next slide, by the way. I've made an explanation of tech in the everyday world because we are all already living in technology. This event is possible by technology. In the past, we would have had to make this a physical event, and we have people that are watching from Cameroon. You would have never been able to see this event without technology, right? So we have the way we're able to pay. I hardly have cash these days. I'm able to pay for things digitally, and that is fintech, right? So now we understand how technology works. But the difference between working in tech and building a career in tech and just being impacted by tech is the question of what should tech be to you, Right now, you and I are using this technology as a consumer. You are here in this call because you've been using technology as a consumer, and then you're now hearing the opportunities to actually be a part of the builder of technology. And that is why we have this call, right? So, first of all, you need to understand what you as a builder, your role in technology. You are somebody that applies knowledge, utilizes tools and creativity to design, develop, or improve systems. Meaning, you are transitioning from somebody that technology, we have all these upgrades. In iPhone, they are upgrading the operating systems every single day. You are thinking of changing your phone. Those are upgrades. Now you're trying to transition from somebody that is just thinking that I want to change, I want to get I want to be included in this new wave of technology, to somebody that is actually building that tech. You are the one that is making people's lives better, right? You are the one that is building banks like Opay or Money Point. Because before, if you want to open a bank, you have to go to the bank. But now with banks like Opay and Money Point, there's this funny thing that Opay does, that you have to do your face like this, like this, like this, like that. Before, you needed to go to the bank so that they can verify your information with that your face that you're showing like that, and that was KYC. Do we understand? If we're following, any questions, please put it in the comment section. We will be getting back to that. So, Sharon, please, next slide. All right, just going to get right into it. The next section of this talk that we will be talking about, now that we understand technology, if you understand technology, please put it in in the comment section. Any questions that you have, put it there. If you want to find out whether next 10 years we're going to be able to fly with technology, put it there. Although we're already flying with airplanes, but carry on. Anyway, the next part is choosing your tech path. So now that we understand what technology is, right? How can we now choose our tech path in technology? Do you understand? Yes, thank you so much, Esther. So, how can we now choose our career paths in technology? There's one thing people usually skip. Somebody comes online and they say, the next big thing is front end. Bam, everybody has run to front end. The next big thing is Java. Everybody has run to Java. The next big thing is AI. Everybody has run to AI. Those are not necessarily bad things to do, but if you are going to build a long-term career, a career that transcends generation, everybody wants to build generational wealth. Like, if you want to build further than yourself for all the money in the world that you want, then you need to understand how to choose a career path for yourself. Because just because something is raining or just because something is good does not mean it is good for you. That is the easiest way that many people are now stuck in this cycle of unemployment. Right. So, first things first, understand that choosing a career path starts with knowing yourself. This is as simple as self assessment and setting goals, right? Um, First of all, what is self assessment? Self assessment helps you identify your strengths, your interests, your work style, and then your long term goals. Simple English is you need to understand what you're actually strong at. Imagine working, you're somebody that does not, you're not a morning person, right? But you need to clock in at 5 a.m. to attend to customers. That can't work. You are going to be rude, you are going to be mean, people are going to not like you, people are going to be giving bad feedback about you and about your company, and it's not going to be anyone's fault. It's just you choosing a path that doesn't really align with yourself. You get. So it's like, even if you're not even doing customer service, you can also just choose the afternoon, when something that aligns with your work style, like how you work. Because there are different work styles. You might be a disorganized person, which is completely fine as long as you get the work done. You can be somebody that's completely organized, and then you now want to work in a place like project management. Project management, you are dealing with a lot of people, and if there's one thing I'm dealing with a lot of people, that it's not very organized, right? To you now, you set a plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somebody will tell you, no, me, I want to start five first. It happens. So you need to choose a path that aligns with your interests, your strengths, what you're actually really good at. Sometimes you might be good at numbers, you might be good at maths, you might be good at speaking, you might be good at creating. Whatever you're good at, apply that in your self assessment and let it help you choose your career path. So, why is this important? Your career decisions become more sustainable when they align with who you are naturally. And how can you be sure that this thing, this assessment that or this path that you're about to take aligns with you naturally? Then you want to take it, you want to be very serious about goal setting. What is goal setting? Goal setting is simply sitting down and thinking to myself, what do I want for myself? Do I want to speak at 10 events this year? I'm going to write that down. Do I want to be the richest woman in the world? I am going to write that down. That's just goal setting. No matter, and goal setting can be broken down. It's a whole field on its own because no matter how outrageous it is, everything is achievable as long as they are broken down into chunks. What does that mean? If you want to cook jollof rice, your first step is to wash your rice. After you wash your rice, you prep the tomatoes and the pepper. After you prep tomatoes and pepper, you put that tomatoes and pepper on fire and allow it to boil. Do you understand? So you just break things down like that. So some questions that you might want to take note of when you're doing your self-assessment is, what kind of problems do I enjoy solving? Like, what kind of situations do I like to put myself in? If you don't like drama, I don't know why you're in customer service. You know, do you enjoy structure, creativity, analysis, communications, or system thinking? Communications or system thinking? One sec. Communications or system thinking, what kind of work environment would help you to thrive? When it's not like as if you have to enter every place that says we are a family here. Check the trajectory of every other person that has worked there. Like, I would love to work at a place like this, a place that supports people, right? So these are questions that you want to ask yourself. And then the most important part, which is something that people do skip: what lifestyle do I want my career to support? This is really important, right? If you might be a family oriented person, but then you choose a field that does not align with that. That leaves you feeling cold, that leaves you feeling blindsided, that leaves you feeling sad because you're not able to spend time with your family and you're just working and working and working, and you're starting to doubt this, you're starting to doubt that. And that's the easiest way to fail at work, because you start to become depressed, start to become sad, right? So these are questions that you can just ask yourself. There are a lot of other questions. Self-assessment is not a rush thing. You're going to sit down and actually ask yourself questions, right? So one thing we need to be careful of, a mistake that many people do, is that people choose careers based on hype, salaries, or trends. Because as great as it is to make money, there's a quote that says good health is good wealth, right? So as great as it is to make money, that money can come at a cost, can come at a cost. And we have different sections of our health. We have our mental health, we have our physical health. So we need to make sure that whatever we choose actually caters to this. And I understand that the current tech landscape does not really allow for you to choose your sanity, but I want you to remember that day in, day out, there will be nobody else but you, right? All right. Next, we're going to be talking about how to now map yourself. Now that you've done your self assessment, how can you map yourself to the right technical career? Not every role fits every personality. And that's easy. When you choose a role that doesn't really fit you, that's the easiest way to get really negative remarks, and you can even get blacklisted in the industry. We never want to reach that point, right? Because there will be times where they will call your former employer, hello, how did this person work out? Oh, bam, they're going to say something, and then you just be stuck in a loop of unemployment. So for some things you might want to consider, if you enjoy problem solving and logic, you can try software engineering. Software engineering focuses a lot on mathematics. So when we say problem solving, yes, thank you. So when we say problem solving, then we're talking about like, building the infrastructure that people use to make that people will use, and that will just inevitably make their life much more easier. So software engineering, cybersecurity, data engineering, there are breakout sessions that will be happening tomorrow to break down all these fields, or most of this some of these fields that I have mentioned, that are kind of like defining basics for where you might end up in tech as well. So we also have like creativity and visual thinking. If you know you're really good, you're really creative, you can see colors, see how they match together, you can design things. That's when you know you want to enter design. And in design, you have UI UX. UI UX is designing apps and software like this. You're designing the you're designing how the software is going to look. You have brand design. That's another thing. It's not a completely technical field, but it's like, the way you see yellow, you think of MTN, or you see a particular logo and then you immediately think of a particular brand. Very that's like that ties into brand design, right? Then there's product design as well. If you like communications and people, we have developer relations. Developer relations is another very funny field as well. It's like customer success, but for developers. So it's like you have the technical field and you also know how to speak to developers. You can go into developer relations. You're really great with people and communicating. There's developer relations, community management, and product marketing, and all of that and that. So your self-assessment should not narrow your options. In fact, at the end of self-assessment, right, you should have about maybe minimum I'll say like 5 fields that you think to yourself that I want to go into. Right. Now we're now moving into, let's say you have 5 fields from your self-assessment. How can you tell which one exactly works for you? Because we're trying to validate our choice here. We're now going to carry out industry research. So before you commit to a path, you need to understand what the industry is like. Research their day-to-day responsibilities, the required skills and tools, how easy it is, the barrier to entry, how easy it is to get into that field. If you know you are going to be a Java developer, then you cannot be expected to be as successful as other people in the next 2 to 3 years. It doesn't work that way. It might even be maybe after 2 years into learning Java, that is when you finally get your first tech job in Java. So you need to understand, like, do your research, check for the barrier to entry, the day-to-day responsibilities, check for the demand and the growth. How high can you grow? At one point, would you need to shift, or can you stay there and can you keep staying relevant? Especially in this age of AI, it's something we need to be very, very intentional about rather. Then the career progression, your learning curve. The best part about tech is that you keep on learning, and the best part about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. So if you ever want to climb up into tech, you need to keep learning. So it's like, are they going to be in that your tech field now? If you are doing cybersecurity, you need to be taking concurrent exams. So you want to work in a space that provides resources for your exams. You want to work in a space that understands that you have exams, that they will make space for you to have that exam. They'll make space for you to prepare for that exam. And they would actually increase your compensation based on the exam. Can we get the list of stuff? I would probably drop it in the comment section later, but in case, I would advise that you find me on LinkedIn and ask me for it. I'll give it to you, or I'll just give it to the community team, any one of them. All right. So next thing, another really important thing is you need to check your green flags and your red flags. Green flags and red flags is not only for relationships. It also shows up when choosing your career path, right? What are some certain green flags that you want to be aware of? The clear learning pathways. You don't want it to be that when it's time for you to upskill in that your career, you have to be searching high and low before you find resources. You also need to understand how expensive it is for you to learn, because there are some times when you can't be moving with free resources anymore. You need to pay industry experts. How accessible are these industry experts, and how affordable are these industry experts as well. Another thing you want to be sure of is the growing industry demand. There is a list that is published every year of relevant and redundant roles. You can always search your Google for it. You can always search on Google for it and you would get it. You also need to understand if you have transferable skills, right? So, for example, somebody that has worked in customer success can transition into community management because you know how to handle people, you know how to deal with people. If you've worked in software engineering, you can now specialize in either front end engineering or back end engineering. So, how transferable the skills that you get in that role, how can you now use it in another role, right? Now, let's move into red flags. Choosing solely based on salary trends. There are some salaries that comes at the cost of your sanity. I need to put that out there. No genuine interest in the actual work. So it should not gonna be that you hustle so hard to get that role. When you get that role, you start to do wrong. Fact is, you need to last in that job, right? Another thing is you need to be very sure of how fast the industry. You need to be very sure of how fast the industry changes, and manage the unrealistic expectations of that role. So industry research is more than just googling the salary, right? You're understanding what your daily life would look like if you choose that career for the next, okay, let's not even say year, but for at least the next 6 months. What is your daily life going to look like if I choose this career path? And like I said, we're always, our goal here is to validate our career choice. What are the metrics that you want to consider when validating your career choice? Number one, lifestyle compatibility. Is it compatible with your lifestyle? How can you manage the salary potential and growth rates? It's not going to be that you're doing the most work, but because of the industry says that your role is not that relevant, you're not being paid peanuts. Do you understand? Flexibility, remote, freelance, hybrid. Which one do you want? Do you prefer to work in the office? Then you're looking for normal roles, right? Or do you want to be working in the office on some days or working outside the office on the other days? That's hybrid. Job market demand, very, very important that your role stays or your career path stays in demand. And then finally, your work-life balance and learning sustainability. Okay, finally, we're moving to SWOT analysis, and then I'm just going to run through that. So we'll go to the next. So we'll go to the next slide. So SWOT analysis is just very simply something that is going to guide you into your industry research and your assessment. It's something you could go Google later on. But what does SWOT mean? SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What are your strengths? What are the things that you are good at? So if your strengths are communication and creativity, then you have a strong fit for DevRel, community management, or maybe even UX design as well. What are your weaknesses? You're not really good at math. Then you understand that there are times in this your role that you would have to deal with heavy data, right? So how are you going to manage that? Then you have your opportunities. Growing tech, like how much access do you have to mentorship and visibility or tech communities like She Code Africa as well? What are the opportunities that are available for you in that career path that you have chosen, right? And then finally, your threats. I think everybody is facing the same amount of threats, which is that the tech is a very large, fast changing industry. And if you're in a role that now requires continuous learning, you need to understand how to navigate that. All right, so next slide, please. We are in the last section at this point. So, right now, oh, sorry, building career roadmap. Building career roadmap, please. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you had changed it. No, it's you're going back. All right, thank you. So, building a career roadmap, we've talked about your skill assessment. Now, let's talk about your self assessment. Now, let's talk about your skill gap assessment. So, there are things, there's a difference between hard skills, soft skills. If you're somebody that's good at communications, creativity, analytics, all of that, those are soft skills at that point. But like your technical skills are not actually give you knowledge on how you can apply your skills in that particular area that you choose. Those are your technical skills. So you have your hard, you have your soft. Thank you so much, Stephanie. So you have your hard and then you have your soft. So you want to look at the skills that you currently have. You can do 2 plus 2 is 4, right? But when you're now going into software engineering, you might want to do DY/DX. Do you understand? So it's like the gap between the skills that you currently have and the skills that is required for the career that you want. How do you carry a very realistic skill gap assessment? Identify your target role. After you've done your industry research and self assessment, identify your target role. Then study the job descriptions for all the positions. That is a hack I'm going to give you. One of the easiest thing to do is to study the job description for maybe entry level. If you're trying to be an associate, if you're trying to be any entry level role anyway. But me, I'll hold your hand and say, even look at the people that are senior to you, the people that are experts. What are the skills that they are listing out that they are looking for in this role? That gives you an insight so you can think in the future, right? So that you're not going to learn anything that is redundant, that is not going to be necessary, right? So the thing about entry level skills is that they are always changing. But if you want to grow to be a senior or you want to grow to be a global head, then look at these job descriptions and look at the skills that are spelled out, skills that they are looking for. Take them. Another hack, take them to AI because some of them can be the same thing. Some of them can be the same thing. Do you understand? So if they say social media marketing and then they say digital marketing, they are almost the same thing. They are very similar. So the what you want to learn between social media marketing and digital marketing is digital marketing, and then you can now maybe take a crash course on social media marketing. But if you now say you will go in depth social media marketing and then do crash course or take anyhow, read anything on digital marketing, you can become you can easily become redundant, right? So study job descriptions because this is going to help in building the skills that you actually want to learn. Next thing that you want to separate is between technical skills, like I said, technical skills, soft skills, and then industry knowledge. So there are some skills that you might see on Google, you can see on AI that they'll tell you to learn, right? But some of those skills might not even be very, very necessary, right? So example, when you're learning email marketing, you know that you want to know how to use the platforms first of all, because more than the skills that you need, which are copywriting, content writing, and the rest, those skills are very important. They're your basics. So, but what will keep you hireable will be the platforms that are currently in demand. How many? There are not a lot of people that are still using Mailchimp, right? But you still want to know how to use Mailchimp. So carry everything, technical, soft, and then industry knowledge as well. Finally, your career planning. So I'm going to just move everything about career planning, building experience, and visibility together. Um, when it comes to career planning, you should understand that good career planning includes defining your short-term and your long-term goals. I feel like it's something that I mentioned in the beginning with goal setting. So you're not just planning your career for the next 2, 3 years. You're planning your career for even when you're much older, maybe in the next 10 years, safe. That's when you're planning your career for as far as that. And that is going to reflect in the industry that you end up picking or the path that you end up picking. So understand your short term and your long term goals. You can even break it further than into long term, quarterly, and then short term. So that's easier for you. If you say you want to become a writer, then you know that you in your quarterly goals, in the first 2 quarters, you want to have written your rough draft, or you want to have researched how to get published as a writer. Do you understand? So next is understand the current market reality and watch the news. You don't really have to know how to interpret data, but watch the news, read articles, and understand where the market is and where the market is going. People are doing this for you. It's just a lack of information. Account for your strengths, your weaknesses, and make sure you follow a realistic timeline. This is very, very important. You don't want to be spending 2 years learning one skill, and that skill in the next 2 years they are going to drop it and say it's too hard to fill. Do you understand? So you know choose a realistic timeline. a timeline that goes with your schedule. If you're somebody that is currently trying to transition into tech, then you want to choose a timeline that fits with, maybe you're working a 9 to 5, so your 9 to 5 schedule. If you close by 5 and you're in a country that, there's traffic and everything, so you get home by like 7, 8. Between 8, or between rather 8:30 to 9:30, how much can you learn? How can you maximize that? So choose a realistic timeline in the moment, and then even as you go as far. So like in the next, you can say from 0 to 3 months, I want to have the basics down. From 3 months to 6 months, I want to start building in public. I want to start practicing these things that I have learned. From 6 months to, let's say, 6 months to 6 months again, you want to at least get a job, or you want to have applied your role in maybe a volunteering position and you should have killed it. Do you understand? So when you have those timelines, that's what is now going to help you to build a structured roadmap. And here are some things your roadmap needs to include: foundation knowledge, core tools and technical tools. I understand that AI is easy. AI makes everything easy for us. There are so many steps that we can skip, unlike people that have been ahead of us, right? But your core tools, find out the core tools, learn the basics. The basics is what to keep you ahead of the AI wave. People are falling behind because they have forgotten the basics. So you need to remember the basics. Next is, as I mentioned, hands-on projects that you are deciding by yourself, and then even now removing projects from your own personal projects to real world problem solving. Very important, and that is where volunteering comes into play. So now you've made your own projects, right? You've positioned it as your personal projects. You've put what you learned from this, what you learned from that. You're now going to go out into the real world and say, I want to practice this thing in real time that I have learned, right? Because the very big difference between your learning journey and then even when you're now finally practicing as a professional is that as a professional, it's not as structured. It is not as structured. Everything is overlapping. You're doing everything all at once. So your learning flow should follow: learn, practice, build, document, improve, and repeat. And that is how you grow in your career. And that is how you grow in your career. That is how you build credibility. You build credibility by building in public. Every single thing you are learning, put it on social media. We thank God for social media. Everything, single thing you are learning, put it on social media. Take that thing that you have learned, take it to AI, tell it to come up with resume points for you. Be building your portfolio, be building your CV. Do we understand? So that's very interesting. All right, moving to the quotes. I'm about to close out, guys. Thank you so much. I believe I even at myself, I'm learning from my own session. So I hope you are learning from the session. If you are learning from the session, I want to see questions because that's the only way I can know that you are learning. I want to see questions in the comment section. Please move to the next slide. I'm just going to continue. Okay, so we are moving to now. This is the end of the session. I have walked you through a number of things because this is when it comes to choosing your career path, it's very important. It's what's going to determine your lifestyle, how much money you make, how far you progress, right? So you need to have an action plan after this session. Not only am I waiting for your questions to be sure that you've learned something, but I also want to see an action plan later. If it's that you want to be tagging me when you're posting as a reading in public, tag me on LinkedIn, Sha. Anyway, so your first thing I want to make sure that everybody does is, first off, go and carry out a self-assessment. Even when you are trying to transition, even when you're trying to jump in, like you're just starting your career in tech, carry out a self assessment, please. Your strengths, interests, work styles, and long term career goals. Next, I need you to research the industry intentionally. How do you research? Like I mentioned, job descriptions, the social media profiles of people that have been that are ahead of you in a field that you're trying to break into. If you're trying to be like Dangote, you want to be stalking Dangote's social media, just putting that out there. Another thing is you want to be a part of tech community because there's some things that you might not see online that your community can review to you, right? Next is mentorship spaces. So the thing is like navigating tech is one thing, but you also want to do it with someone. And we luckily for you, She Code Africa has a mentorship program, so you should keep an eye out for when applications start for that. Then next thing you're going to do as you are doing your research, please make sure that you are conducting it in line with your SWOT analysis. What is SWOT? Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of both the industry you're trying to work in and your self assessment. So you want to be as realistic as possible. It's only you that can see that plan. So there's no need for you to pretend. Say it as it is. Next that you want to do is to build a career roadmap. What is your career roadmap? Very simple. What to learn, when to learn it, how to practice it, and how you are going to measure your growth. And then finally, start building in public from day one. From day one. In I don't People don't do it as much anymore, but some people used to do 100 days of learning Java, 100 days of learning Python, 100 days of learning AI, right? So start building in public from the onset. Document your learning, share the projects you're working on, and start to volunteer. Volunteering is how you build experience at the end, so that at the end of your roadmap, you are ready for a job. It's not gonna be that it is after you've learned, you spent about a year learning, and then you now want to start job hunting. It's going to be quite hard. It might discourage you a little bit, but once you start to volunteer as you are learning, right, by the time you are done with your learning like this, bam, you're able to look for a job, you're able to get a job. And how do you even get a job? The traditional pathway of applying is not really it anymore. There are new things about code pitching. Luckily, there are platforms where you can even sell your skills blatantly like that. You have platforms like Seller, right? You have platforms like uh I don't remember the other one. I think it was Mainstack or so. So you know how some people just carry their skills and they put it in a book and they put it out there. You're a beginner, you can sell to another beginner. There will always be beginners, right? As long as they are going to be experts, then there will always be beginners. That's the cycle of life. So volunteer strategically. Don't go to a place that they will go and outwork you for nothing. Make sure it's a place that will actually catapult you into paid opportunities. So you want to volunteer very, very intentionally and position your work online. Please remember that everything is just all about small consistent actions that compounds into career growth. You're not going to open your laptop or open your book, open your phone and decide that I want to become a Java developer, and then in the next 1 week you're already a Java developer. That's not going to happen, right? So it's small every single day. Even if you show up at 1%, it still contributes to your career growth. You lose when you stop showing up, guys. Please take note of that. So you don't need to have everything figured out before you begin. Many people, everybody that you know built with clarity while moving and not while waiting. Finally, another thing I really want to really talk about is about AI as a tool. I have been mentioning about the numerous ways that AI can help you. If you know you want to move far in today's tech landscape, you don't want to be 100% dependent on AI. AI is your creative assistant, and that is how you can make AI work for you, right? So the fear is less about, oh my God, AI is replacing me, AI is replacing me. It's the people that are using AI that are replacing you. In fact, Seth, the funniest wave is once you start to use AI, Seth, you see people charging more as they're using AI. They're not even working for them. They're not even working immediately, like for themselves. So yes, remember, tools will always evolve. Tools will always be there. But what remains valuable is you and your skill and what you know how to do. And it translates into using what you know how to do to make waves and to provide value. All right. Thank you so much, guys. The future belongs to those who can learn, adapt, and think critically. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really hope you enjoyed my session. It's time for Q&A. I'm just going to look through the comment section. I am seeing people asking about, the list of the self-assessment and practically for my slides. If I'm being honest, I did not provide a much more in-depth slides to the team. So I would advise that you follow me on LinkedIn. I am going to put the link here. So all you have to do is follow me on LinkedIn and I would be posting the slides. I would also try, if it's possible, to send it to the community team. If you're not a part of the community, I advise that you through our join through our website www.shecodafrica.org. So yeah, follow me here on LinkedIn and ask me for my slides, or I might post it. Depends. It depends. So I'm going to put in the comment section now. Thank you so much. Yes, volunteer to build experience. Can it be shared via email? Can my slides? I would talk to the community team about that if my slides can be shared later on. How do you find volunteering or internship opportunities? I mentioned something called code pitching. What is code pitching? There's even code, there's even one pitching. Remove that code and one. What is pitching? So pitching is putting yourself forward. Pitching is approaching people to talk to them about your services, or to talk to them about your skills, or to talk to them about your products, and to invite them to come and invest, or to partner, or to sponsor, or to pay you, or to just work with you in general. That is code pitching to you. So what you're now going to do is that as you are building all these experiences, yeah, you want to message people, you want to reach out to organizations. There are email finders of founders, right? You can tell them, okay, even if you cannot pay me, I'd like to volunteer at least. You are building experience. You're not the one that is losing. Money is water, it will come to you. I promise you. So you want to build experiences. Put your eye out on social media. You will find volunteering experiences. Once you start to look for volunteering experiences, every single day they will put it in your front. That is social media for you. That's how it works. That's how the system works. So, but if you're not seeing in your front, or you're applying and you're not getting accepted, then you want to also be messaging people. You want to be reaching out to organizations. At the end of the day, no cannot kill you. It is one yes that is going to change your life. So keep pushing, keep pushing. Another thing is you can either pitch your services. So it's either you say, please, I want to volunteer, or you can say, I noticed the easiest way is to notice a gap. I noticed there's a problem with your. I'm going to talk in my context of content. If I was going to pitch myself to somebody now, and I see that there is this content idea that they can do that will make them a lot of money, I will message them immediately and I'll say, hello, hi, my name is this. I am a marketing professional with over 3 years of experience. Da, 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 da. I'm seeing a gap in your content, and I really see how I'm seeing how we can maximize this gap. I really hope you give me the opportunity to, work out something, and let's see how it goes. That's how you start the conversation. That's how I start the conversation going. But I do want to give you a note. Please, anytime you are reaching out to people, just get straight to the point these days. It's okay to be direct. After all, no cannot kill you. There are also some organizations, or there are also some code pitching that you'd have to be very emotional about it. So it really depends, right? If you want to, it really depends. But there are volunteering and internship opportunities everywhere. You just have to look for it yourself. The old way of it being in your face is unfortunately not has is not as reliant as before. So the next question is, how do I balance my tech career with studying a professional course that does not go in line with my tech track? For example, studying law and learning software development. I gave an example for this. Yes, Larissa. I really hope I pronounced that well. But yeah, Larissa said something about when you're pitching, you need to appreciate the work they are doing first. Agreed. So you need to why you are appreciating the work that they are doing first is just largely because You want to make sure that the thing you're saying, like you are trying to show them the emotional connection to that brand, right? Or to anything else, right? Hmm, interesting. Okay. So how do you balance your tech career while studying a professional course? The truth is, it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of intention. I mentioned before about if you're working a 9 to 5, and let's say you only get home around like 8. If I was working a 9 to 5 and I got home by 8, realistically, I would I would wait till 9:30. I would have eaten, watched a lot of movies, prepared myself for the next day, and then from 9:30 to 11, I would read something. Like I said, you don't have to show up 100% every day, 1%, 2%. So I would read something, I would practice something, right? And now that I'm even trying to build that thing in public, it's much, much easier that as you are practicing or learning in real time, you just carry, you immediately make a social media post. There are many ways that you can schedule social media posts, right? So you can even use Canva to create maybe carousels, depending on wherever you're like posting. So immediately I'll just make a social media post, schedule it for 9 a.m. so that the next day I'm not thinking to myself that I want to post this thing, I want to do this. So at least 3 hours, I mean 9:30 to 2 hours 30 minutes, 2 hours 30 minutes of learning every single day is moving me forward. Do you understand? It's a lot of intention. It's not very easy. And you have to find what works for you. That's what works for me. Me currently now, I'm working, right? So I'm not learning every single day. But let me tell you one of the things that I do that helps me. I use AI. How do I use AI? Notebook LM. You can make a podcast of what you want to learn. You download your materials, you upload it to the cloud in the app. It's called Notebook LM, and you create a podcast. So when I wake up in the morning now, as I'm making breakfast or when I go jogging, I listen to it. I'm learning. That's passive learning. I'm still upskilling. When it's weekend, I sit down and I open a video. I open a course. If I'm that was let's say I was taking a course right now. I'll just open a course during the weekend. Let's say from I don't wake up until 12. So from 2 to 5, I like to learn at a stretch, right? So from 2 to 5, I'm learning my course. As I'm doing this regularly, it builds up. That's career growth for you. Do you understand? So I've been a student as well, like you. I balance tech with all things school related, and it is not easy at all. But I do know that there are hot and cold seasons. You have seasons of learning, right? You have seasons where you're not actively taking tests and exams. And let me say, you just have to, as I like to say, I like to maximize my waiting time. It's not as easy. It's not like secondary school that we can sit down and we can carry books to read, right? But one of the ways that we can do it is that we pick out. So one of the ways that we do it is that we can pick out like while we're waiting, maybe we're waiting for the bus or we go to the restroom or something, you can pick out your phone and you can just start to read through, right? So it's not easy to balance these things, but it's just about being intentional. Especially if you're balancing with school. You're going to have to carve out time. It's easier said than done, but you're going to have to carve out time. Even if it is one day in a week, do it. Continue to do it. So I wonder if there's any more questions. So I've been trying to post. Let me see. I've been trying to post the link to my LinkedIn, but it's fine. You can just follow me on Great Oloyede. Yeah. Thank you so much. What do I do if after my self-assessment I realize I barely have any strengths? You build it. You know this thing that people like to say, nobody has two heads, right? You can build strengths, right? You can build resilience. You can build yourself to be adaptable. My dear, I've been trying to post my LinkedIn URL, though they're not allowing me. But you can build your strengths. That's why we decided that after your self assessment, you also do a skill gap assessment, right? How do you do your skill gap assessment? What skills do you currently have? So if you don't have any strengths, and then what strengths do you need to build? You want to grow in a leadership role. How can you become a leader? How do you become a leader? Understand the difference between people following you and you just belting out others so you can build your strength. And there are many tools to do that. You can use AI to figure out the roadmap of that, or you can just go to Google, traditional Googling, how to be a leader, read books, read articles, consume media. You have people that are leaders that you admire, follow their lives. So you can build that strength and you can practice it. So, thank you so much. Actually, I'm very sure I'm way past my time. Sef. I'm actually waiting for them to come and tell me that I'm way past my time. I have only one more questions left in me. Ah, thank God, oh, they're back.
Yeah, so I mean, I was looking at the way questions kept coming in, and it felt like nobody wanted you to leave, right? So I had to just it felt like we should just spend the whole day here, and the ladies keep hearing from you. So again, I had to take the backstage. But I mean, it's been really nice seeing how much you've given back in terms of breaking down from self-assessment when it comes to even understanding the right tech path, right, that you need to identify, right, and even down to when you spoke about areas where we can even get up opportunities, right, in area of pitching ourselves, putting ourselves out there, reaching out to people, and all of those tips. I mean, they were really, really amazing and so insightful. And I know most of the ladies here have a lot of questions they still want to ask, right? So I'm going to be dropping great LinkedIn URL in the chat box because I know a lot of you kept asking questions or you'd love to connect with her. I just dropped it now in the chat box. So please feel free to connect with her. We are finally wrapping up today's session, by the way. And I want to say a very big thank you to Great, to everyone who decided to show up here and listen, right? And the fact that you were even active, right? Areas of providing questions, asking, and even showcasing how you were being carried along, right? I want to say a very big thank you to you all. Today is day one. Of course, tomorrow is day two. It doesn't end here, by the way. We have day two tomorrow where we'll be having different speakers for different sessions. If you're actually interested in learning more about web development, you're interested in learning more about product design or whatever, right? We have different sessions tomorrow, right? From front end engineering to, sorry, from front end development to different sessions, right? Which will be happening 4 p.m. Western African time tomorrow, as well as, I mean, it's also going to be happening by 5 p.m. Central Instant Time. So this is me just saying, if you haven't registered yet, you don't want to miss out because again, Great came here and she did a lot, breaking it down, providing a very detailed breakdown on how to understand or even choose your tech path. So of course, tomorrow is going to be way better than today was, right? So I think the final thing I just want to say before I wrap up, because I can see that someone was asking if this recording is going to be shared. So you can actually always go back to She Could Africa on our YouTube page just to rewatch today's session or to rewatch our past event, right? So there is no need for us to share any recorded session, right? So again, you can always rewatch it on She Could Africa YouTube page, right? So I hope I answered your question. Amadanzumalo. Sorry if I didn't get that well. And yeah, I think the final thing I just wanted to also add would be that again, Great did well. She gave us so many nuggets. She gave us so many tips that we need to go back to the drawing board to look out. So I think the final thing I just want us to do, right, from today's session, which is more like a task, right, that I want us to do, is that we go on our social media page. Remember, she spoke about pushing yourself out there. And the only way you can push yourself out there is posting relevant things, right? Posting things that maybe event activities you've been part of. And for example, you're a part of today's event, the Demystifying Tech event. So I want you to go on your social media page, share one key learning, right? It could be an action step, right, that resonated with you based off of what Great shared with us today. Could be areas of self-assessment, could be areas of tips on how to position yourself well better. So I want you to share one key learning or action step that you are taking away from today's session, right? Again, you need to tag She Could Africa, because the only way we can help you amplify it, right, is when you tag us, right? You tag She Could Africa on maybe your LinkedIn, maybe your Twitter, and you also use the hashtag, which again I'm going to be dropping in the chat box, right? So I would like to see our chat. I'd like to see rather our post on LinkedIn, because I mean I'm following She Could Africa. So of course, Great is going to be helping us re-amplify all of your posts that would come in, right? And please again also tag Great, because I mean she was our speaker today and she really did amazingly well. So you want to also give her like a special shout out on your LinkedIn post, on your Twitter post, and whatnot. So again, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow by 4 p.m. Western African time. And again, please drop links on how today's session actually went. Would really love to hear your feedback, things you'd love to see, future events you'd love to see. We would love to get all of this feedback. So again, I would be dropping that in the chat box. And this is where we come to an end of the Demystifying Tech day one. And tomorrow we continue again, same time but different venue, by the way. Bye, ladies, and you have a great evening and an amazing day. Bye, everyone. Bye. All right, I can see that the links are being dropped in the comment section. So please let's feel free to also register. So bye, everyone.